Welcome. This is Alice Alicia Jones. I am going to continue with the project that last month, and this is releasing your burdens. And the subject we will cover today is about the belief system and the fact that we have a within us a governing body of beliefs that we're not even aware of. And we absolutely are subjected to those beliefs, whether they're conscious or subconscious. And unfortunately, I have already covered this, but the tape inside your head can be extremely negative, and you're not even aware of it. So today I asked my guides for what they wanted me to present for everything that had to do with beliefs that add to your burdens. And the first thing that came out was projects that are left unfinished. And this is interesting because clutter is now a very big item in social mores. And clutter is something that unfinished projects really do fill a lot of time and space. So, one of the things that you have to become aware of is, do you have sewing projects, painting projects, carpentry projects, do it yourself efforts that are out there that you really don't want or need anymore? They're not part of what is attractive to you, but they're still cluttering your life. If that's the case, just get rid of them. Pass them on to somebody else that might be able to handle them. I know that as a first grade teacher, always welcomed picture magazines because I would use them to have my students cut up the pictures and use them as a uh, springboard for the stories that they were going to write. And even though this was first grade, it was amazing how a story could prompt a child, how a picture could prompt a story out of a child, I should say. The second thing that your beliefs, how beliefs can hamper you and provide extra burdens in your life, is the fundamental religious beliefs that you may have been raised with. These are can absolutely hold you back. You may have outgrown the religious system that you were raised with, and frankly, not even be aware of it, too, because of the fact that you're just continuing going to the same church or following the same set of beliefs because of inertia. It's not inconvenient to not have to think about anything else that may crop up in your life. So, but with fundamental beliefs also comes the fact that the religious beliefs could have told you that drinking was a sin, dancing was a sin, any kind of humor, joyousness in your life was displeasurable to God. um, you're really going to have to examine those yourself and decide what's right for you and what isn't, and discard every single thing that you no longer that no longer fits into your life. The next set of beliefs is a feeling of helplessness or hopelessness. And this could have come to you from the way that you were raised. It could have come to you from the watching your parents interact with each other. There could have been a very cold and a very frigid relationship between the two of them. It could have been that your mother never really wanted a child. So as a result, she held against you something that was basically fundamental and dear to every human being on this earth. And that is that their life is cherished. And she just didn't feel that way. So she was cold and indifferent or self absorbed. Even if she did care for the family, she was still self absorbed. There also could have been name calling in the family of origin or the current family situation that you're in. It could have been not only name calling, but it could be what I would consider foul language. And you know what that is, uh, because the every single word has an energy to it, and foul language carries with it a very heavy energy that brings a very low vibration and makes you feel very, very bad. Another issue that could have affected you very, very deeply, very strongly, is the fact that you were left alone. Let's say I know that in when I was growing up, working mothers maybe made up 1 to 5% of the female population, but now it's probably closer to 75%. So, and in certain socioeconomic spheres, the children do not have a cherished babysitter. They are given a key and told to come home and take care of themselves. And it could petrify them. So, effectively, you have to evaluate, did you come in with the attitude that this world is a scary place? And did the situation that you grew up with make it uh, even more so? Um, Another situation that would have come up to make yourself feel that your belief system is not working for you is promises that were made to you but not kept. These are promises that could have included treasured items that you wanted as a child. It could have been a bicycle, um, could have been a piece of jewelry. It also could have been a trip. I know in my case, it was a car because my parents didn't drive. And I felt that as soon as I turned 16, um, that I was a very responsible student and I absolutely deserved to have a car. And I was promised a car. Well, it didn't happen. And 17, it didn't happen. I'm going into graduation and I recognize that, geez, um, they're not going to do it. They're not going to make good on their promise to get me a car. So the unfortunate tack that I took to get my way to get them to buy me a car was I stopped talking to my mother and father. And did they buy me a car? Yes, they did. But frankly, at the end of a month of not talking to them, it felt like such a hollow victory that I didn't feel it was a victory at all. And it was very, very sad. It was more uh, trauma than I ever wanted to put up with. But nevertheless, that was something that absolutely was very, very important to me and didn't happen. The next item that you can almost bet is going to add a burden to your life is financial instability. And it doesn't matter what situation you grew up with. It could be that you grew up in an impoverished home, but you became an excellent student and you realized that if you were going to be a success in life, that it was totally up to you. It could be that you grew up in a very well-to-do home and everything was handed to you. You really didn't have to work for anything. And that could also work against you because you really didn't understand the challenge of what it meant to work towards something that you really wanted and achieve it. It was very interesting how in my family, uh, my father always railed against the big shots instead of becoming one. And so as a result, something about that, his railing against big shots made me feel that, oh, people were a lot with a lot of money were undesirable. They weren't nice people. And but fortunately for me, I had an experience in the fourth grade where I desperately wanted to be part of the uh, the raffle that my nuns put out at the St. Isidore's Elementary School, and the chances were cost 5 cents. Well, in those days, 5 cents could buy a loaf of bread. So this was in the 50s. And unfortunately, my parents, under no circumstance, could afford for me to give me 5 cents for a raffle. And I was crestfallen because there were so many lovely prizes that I knew that I would not be able to get a chance to even win. And so I was walking to school, and there on the ground, within a maybe a block or two of school, because I had a 5 block walk, were a bunch slips of paper, a bunch of slips of paper that were identical to the chances. They were, I can remember them to this day. They were shiny, they were blue, and they had uh, a kind of a slick side to them. And I picked up those pieces of paper and I knew with every fiber in my being that I was going to write my name on those chances and turn them in and quietly slipped into the house, into the classroom, and felt that I knew this was wrong, but I also knew that I wanted to do this. But at the same time that I made my decision to write my names on those slips of paper, I also made a vow to myself that I will never be poor. And the few times in my life where I got to a place where I felt I'm kind of touching on the brink of poverty, it just made me double up my effort and work that much harder to get out of it because I knew that this is not something that I wanted to do. Um, the next item is a inability to secure employment. It could be that you lack qualifications. It could be that you stopped short of getting your degree, that you dropped out of college, um, purposefully, willingly, or for financial reasons. But whatever it is that is holding you back, with that, you are going to have to get make up your mind and get to a place where you finish what you started. Finish up that certification, get that degree, get the qualifications that you need to move into the next step. Um, I would like to I have one more item, but I'm going to leave that for the next video. We're doing this in 3 parts, and I just wanted to show you a copy of my book, Own Your Power. This is a wonderful book that helps you release burdens and helps you move forward with your life in every single way on a day to day basis because it's a meditation for every day, a story, an essay, a parable for every day. Thank you very much.